Welcome back to the Yankee Doodle Dandy. This is episode 5. Today we're going to talk about the beginning of the post Juan Soto era for the New York Yankees. Juan Soto is a New York Met. We're also going to talk about how the Yankees have started Plan B. The Yankees have officially signed ace left-handed pitcher Max Fried. So we're going to talk all about that. We're going to talk about Juan Soto, the Mets. We're going to talk about Max Fried. We're going to go over some Yankee rumors, what's going on right now in the hot stove, as the Yankees and every other baseball team, all executives from all 30 MLB teams, are right now in Dallas for the winter meetings. As they go on, we are continuing to find out more and more each and every day about what the Yankees possibly could do. But first, let's talk about the heartbreak that was Sunday night when we found out the news that Juan Soto is signing with the New York Mets for 15 years, $765 million. And this was the tweet that I had bookmarked. I know John Heyman technically broke it, but Jeff Passan, breaking, superstar outfielder Juan Soto and the New York Mets are in agreement on a 15-year, $765 million contract. It is the largest deal in professional sports history. That is huge. Juan Soto got the absolute bag. Then we found out a little bit more about the contract. Juan Soto's 15-year, $765 million deal with the Mets includes no deferred money, and has escalators that can reach above $800 million at $805 million. The way it works is that he does have an opt-out after 5 years. He can opt out, which, spoiler alert, he will. And his AAV currently is $51 million. But what happens is if he opts out, then Mets can negate that by adding an extra $4 million AAV for the remainder of the contract. So that would be a total of $40 million. So it's actually really a deal worth $805 million. And then he also got a signing bonus of $75 million. So it's technically even more than that. It's a $880 million deal in total. That is wild. And then there's amenities and stuff that we also found out that he also got that is kind of crazy. I mean, Steve Cohen went all out, got his guy. Congrats to Steve Cohen. Congrats to the New York Mets. Congrats to Mets fans everywhere. Juan Soto went and got that big bag that he so desired, and it's deserving. And we cannot say Hal Steinbrenner is cheap. I never want to hear Hal Steinbrenner is cheap again. Hal Steinbrenner, his last and final offer to Juan Soto was $760 million over 16 years with a signing bonus of $60 million. So it is a $60 million gap between the Yankees' final offer and what the Mets offered and ultimately what got it done. But Hal Steinbrenner, look, he understood what was happening. He realized this is only going to continue to go and go and go. There's no point. Steve Cohen is not going to stop until he gets this guy. He's going to get him at all costs. And at some point, you just have to kind of tip your cap and just kind of say it's over. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. We can't keep playing this game. Eventually, this has to end because the Yankees had other things they had to go do, right? They had to address other areas of their team, other holes. So the Mets got Juan Soto. And it was very sad for me on Sunday. I labeled this team dead. I said they are dead. And what I meant by dead is that the old ways of thinking, right? We think that players care so much about the pinstripes. Players care so much about this interlocking NY that players care about Monument Park. They don't. Unless they're homegrown Yankees where they've been in the organization for a long time and they've gotten to be here and love the people here, love the tradition of the Yankees. A lot of players just do not give a shit about that anymore. And that's the reality that we live in. And as Yankee fans, we have to be okay with that. Sorry, it keeps pausing. I don't know what is going on. I've restarted my computer multiple times. I have turned off my Wi-Fi. I've unplugged my Wi-Fi, plugged it back in. Nothing is changing. So I think it's just what I'm using to stream right now and record is, I think, having a horrible night. And I think that's unfortunately the problem that I'm having. But we're going to try to persevere through it because I've already recorded this. This is like my 5th time recording this, and I do not want to record it anymore. So Juan Soto's a New York Met. And we're going to get into some Juan Soto drama that happened after we found out Juan Soto was going to be a Met. And it's really Scott Boras and Juan Soto throwing news pieces out there to try to make it seem like Juan Soto didn't just go for the biggest offer, which I'm going to tell you right now, Mets fans, he went for the biggest contract and the biggest dollar value that he could get. It had nothing to do with him wanting to be a New York Met, a lifelong New York Met. It was nothing like that. The guy wanted the most money, and he ended up playing his cards right, knowing Steve Cohen was the guy who ultimately could give him that big bag, as well as Hal Steinbrenner. And he just said, hey, let's see what happens. We'll see where this goes. Whoever gives me the most money, they're going to win my services. He said as much after the World Series was over. He said there's no, Yankees don't have an advantage. There's equal footing. I didn't think so. I thought, he's not going to give away his leverage. He's not going to play his cards. But no, it was completely true. It was completely true. And I was disillusioned by the Yankee, the honor it is to wear the pinstripes, the Yankee allure, the history. Again, stuff didn't really matter to Soto. He wanted the biggest bag. He got the biggest bag. And I'm going to break it down for you like this. If the Chicago White Sox offered Juan Soto $900 million, he'd be a Chicago White Sox right now. That's the reality of the situation. He wanted to go to the top bidder, and he did. So the Juan Soto drama, here we go. After, over the last couple of days, ever since Juan Soto signed, it started yesterday. We started hearing all these little things about why Juan Soto possibly could have left the Yankees. And it didn't have everything to do with this, which it did. The moolah was the reason why Juan Soto left. But in order to endear himself to his new fan base, they started throwing out certain things and taking shots at certain things about the Yankees. Number one, a security guard issue where his family was coming to the ballpark. They were in like a legend section or something for them specifically, and this security guard gave him a hard time. I do believe that because I've heard really bad stories about Yankee security guards, but I'm going to be honest with you, that's not really a big deal at all, because if the Yankees would have presented him the biggest offer, he would have been like, who cares about the security guard? I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal. And everything would have gotten straightened out anyway. Everything did get straightened out. The second thing that we heard was the fact that, he's very much a family guy, and he didn't like the fact that, what was it? It was something specific like the Yankees wouldn't let him. He wanted to get a free suite for his family. And the Yankees said, well, we never did that for Jeter. We never did that for Judge. You have to pay for your suite. Juan Soto didn't like that. So the Yankees said, we'll give you a discount. The Mets gave him free suite access. He's going to have an entire suite for him and his family. There's going to be like a personal assistant for him and his family, all free, every single home game. It is wild. I mean, they pulled out all the stops. They rolled out the red carpet for Juan Soto. This is clearly the guy Steve Cohen has wanted since he bought the team. And they made it a point to say that the Mets are more family-oriented than the Yankees are, which I find laughably funny, because every team, I think, treats family members of their players extremely well. I've heard a lot of great things about the Yankees and the way that they treat their players' family members. It's a bunch of bullshit. Let me be honest with you. It is an absolute bunch of bullshit. These stories are getting out there because they want it to seem like there was more than just the money that came into play with Juan Soto's decision. And again, Juan Soto took the biggest bag. Whether you like that or not, you have to respect it. And me as a Yankee fan, I would have done the exact same thing. I would have taken the easy road. I would have been like $880 million. How can I say no to that? There's no way. So I understand Juan Soto's predicament. He took the biggest bag, but you have to endear yourself to your new fan base and to the Mets fans, where it doesn't seem like you're a mercenary who's just there to get the biggest bag you possibly can, but that you actually care about the way that they treat family. You actually care about the amenities, things like that. Those things don't matter at the end of the day. The other thing is Jeff Passan said that, the reason why Soto chose the Mets over the Yankees is because he thinks that the Mets future is brighter. I have a hard time believing that as well. And the reason why is because these players don't give a shit about prospects. I'm going to be honest with you right now. Okay. Prospects are suspects until proven otherwise. We've seen it so many times with the Yankees where they hype up a prospect, whether it be Anthony Volpe, he's going to be the next Derek Jeter. Spencer Jones, we're already seeing that with him. He's supposed to be the left-handed Aaron Judge. We saw it with the likes of even guys like Melky Cabrera, who I liked, right? Bubba Crosby, the Yankee, Chance Adams. They didn't even want to trade Chance Adams for Garrett Cole because Chance Adams was the next big thing, right? Miguel Andujar, Clint Frazier, whoever it may be, Greg Bird. The Yankees hype up all these prospects, and prospects haven't proven it yet at the big league level. And so that to me is bullshit. Juan Soto probably couldn't even name you 3 players in the Mets farm system that he actually knows who they are. He understands, their swing. I'm sure maybe Luis Angel Acuna, maybe, but chances are very slim that Juan Soto actually cares about the organization as a whole. Juan Soto knows he's such a good player that it's almost like he can kind of get any team into the playoffs. And I think he wants to go out there and prove that. You also have Francisco Lindor, you have Mark Vientos, you have stability there, right? You have Brandon Nimmo, who I really like. I think he's one of the most underrated players in all of baseball. But the Mets won the bidding. They got him the biggest bag possible. He took the biggest bag. He's a New York Met. We move on. This drama means nothing. So if you hear all these things out on Twitter, if you hear these things, on MLB Network or SNY, wherever you watch or consume your MLB news, this is all a lie fed to you by Scott Boras and Juan Soto to try to make it seem like he's not a mercenary who's only out for the money. He is. He has no loyalty to the Yankees. And also, this is a little PSA for all Yankee fans. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the Yankees actually making a move, and we're going to talk about Plan B for the Yankees, which they've started. Any Yankee fan that's out there embarrassing themselves right now and looking so pathetic by acting as if Juan Soto owed us anything or owed the Yankees anything, you look like a complete jackass. Juan Soto owes us nothing. He owes the Yankees nothing. He owes Aaron Judge nothing. He owes Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone nothing. Nada zilch. This is a guy who was here for a year. We had a one-night stand with him. It was beautiful. It was special. It was everything that you could have wanted. And then he ended up going and dating and marrying someone else. And that's what happened. And, if people want to ask me, would I make that trade today, knowing this result, would I still make that trade? 1,000 times out of 1,000 times, yes, I would, because it was worth it. The heartbreak of losing him was worth being able to get to the World Series, being able to watch Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge perform on the big stage, and obviously Juan Soto. And obviously it didn't work out in our favor, and it was not a very good World Series. We played horribly. I've talked about that already in the past. But we got to see this team go to the World Series. So hopefully they can build around the pieces that they have, the core that they have in Judge and Stanton and Cole, give it one last shot with this, this window of opportunity to build a good, balanced team that focuses on fundamental baseball, that's more athletic, that is an all-around better defensive team, that's an all-around better pitching team, which they did that today to be able to kind of help, strengthen that. The Yankees now got to go out and win it. They went to the World Series. I got to see the Yankees play in the World Series for the first time in 15 years. It was worth the trade. The Yankees got all the way to the World Series. And now hopefully these guys who have played in the World Series for the first time can have that confidence, can have that motivation to go out there and go back to the World Series and win it all. And so I would make the trade every single day of the week, even knowing that he's going to be a New York Met. I still would make the trade. It was a worthwhile trade for me. I love Michael King. It would have been nice to have Dylan Cease, but at the end of the day, we made our bed with Juan Soto, and we loved it, and we appreciated it. And I wish him nothing but the best of luck in Queens with the New York Mets. I will never hate Juan Soto. I will never, boo him or, wish for, ill will towards him. I love Juan Soto. This was my favorite one-year acquisition the Yankees have ever made. And it's going to be so weird looking back 15 years from now when this contract is over and you're going to be like, oh yeah, Juan Soto was a New York Yankee for 1 year. It's going to be so weird to think that, but it's a footnote now. And Juan Soto is going to go into the Hall of Fame as a Met. He's going to, go on the Wall of Fame or whatever they call it over there in Queens or, at Citi Field for, when they retire your number and stuff. And I know the Mets, they're trying to win a World Series. They're trying to win multiple World Championships. It's going to be a tough task. The Dodgers are really good. The Padres are really good. The Phillies and Braves, in my opinion, are better teams than the Mets. Mets need pitching help. They need a lot. They need an actual ace. So the Mets, good luck. Good luck. It's going to be tough. You got Juan Soto, but damn, I don't know. That National League is tough. The American League's wide open. So for the Yankees, we obviously lost Juan Soto. Our offense is not going to be able to replace that. But the Yankees can make moves to still be able to compete in the American League and go deep again in the postseason for 2025. And we're going to talk about one of the moves that the Yankees have already made. The first move they made of the offseason, a big move, a huge move. The Yankees today have signed ace left-handed pitcher Max Fried to an 8-year, $218 million deal. This is what Jeff Passan said when he broke the news, which was awesome. Breaking, left-hander Max Fried and the New York Yankees are in agreement on an 8-year, $218 million contract. It is the largest guarantee in baseball history for a left-handed pitcher, which it beats David Price by $1 million. David Price got $217 million, I think, over 7 years or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Max Fried, $218 million over 8 years. The years came out of nowhere. I did not expect Max Fried to get an 8-year deal, especially from the New York Yankees. But this is what happens when you lose Juan Soto. Now you have to go to your contingency plan. Now you have to go to plan B. The route that you didn't want to be in, now you're here. And we had heard all this afternoon that it was really down to 3 teams. It was down to the Yankees, the Red Sox, and Blue Jays for Max Fried, and that Max Fried's decision was imminent. So knowing that, I figured the deal was going to be done today or tomorrow. It got done today. Technically, it's going to be Wednesday when you watch this video. But Max Fried is a New York Yankee, and I love this deal for the Yankees. I actually really am a big fan of Max Fried. I like him a lot. I did not put him in my video or my last week's podcast episode talking about my wish list because I didn't think that the Yankees were really going to pursue Max Fried. And for me, I thought Corbin Burns might have been a better option. But if you look at Max Fried on his Baseball Savant, which I'll pull this up right now, you can see actually Max Fried is probably a better option than Corbin Burns. You look at what he's done over the past 3 seasons, right? 29 starts in 2024. He had a 3.25 ERA. 14 starts in 2023. He was injured, missed some time. He had only threw 77 and 2/3 innings. He had a 2.55 ERA, and then 2022, a 2.48 ERA and 30 starts. Max Fried has been one of the best pitchers in baseball since 2019. And here's an interesting, cool stat. Tweeted from Just Baseball. So thank you, Just Baseball. MLB ERA leader since 2019, minimum 800 innings pitched. Garrett Cole's number 1 at 2.98. Max Fried is number 2 at 3.06. So this is a great tandem of Garrett Cole and Max Fried. You look at his Baseball Savant. Let's look back at his Baseball Savant again. He does not, the players, hitters do not hit the ball hard off of Max Fried. He actually induces a lot of soft contact. He's a big ground ball pitcher, which is going to play really well in New York. That's going to bode really well at Yankee Stadium. And again, hitters don't hit the ball hard off of Max Fried. He's not going to give up a lot of home runs. The strikeout number's pretty average. He's going to strike out about 25%, maybe a little bit more. I really, really like this move for the Yankees. You look at, he's got 7 pitches. These are his 7 pitches right here. He has a 4-seamer. He throws 33.6% of the time. He has a curveball, which is an elite curveball. Let me tell you, his curveball is his best pitch. He throws it 21% of the time. It's his put away pitch. It's nasty. He's got a sinker. Yankees love their sinkers. 15.6% of the time. He threw it last year. A changeup that he threw for 13.6% of the time. If the Yankees bring back Tommy Kahnle, I'm sure Tommy Kahnle will teach him a thing or two about changeups. He's got a sweeper that he throws 5.9% of the time, a slider at 5.6% of the time, and a cutter at 4.7% of the time. So he has 7 different pitches. And he kind of reminds me, he's better than this pitcher, but he kind of reminds me of a Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett is a guy who has a lot of pitches. He uses all of them. Max Fried uses all of his pitches. I really like this move for the Yankees. I think Max Fried is going to be a guy who you could slot in at number 2 right behind Garrett Cole. He is an ace. He was the ace of the Atlanta Braves. And I think the 1-2 punch of Cole and Max Fried has made us a much deeper team, especially on the starting rotation side, which I actually want to show you guys the 2025 rotation currently, what it looks like. I have 8 names here. There are a lot more options, but I'm going to show you this little graphic I made. This is the 2025 Yankee rotation. Okay. So let me actually we're gonna do something here. So this is the rotation. Okay, I made this on Canva. I know. I should have downloaded it, but I had all these struggles with the stupid frigging computer and everything. So here we are. Garrett Cole is your ace, number 1. Number 2 is Max Fried. Then you have Luis Heel, number 3. Rodon is your 4. Clark Schmidt is your 5. And on kind of the outside looking in, you have Nestor Cortez, Marcus Stroman, and then as another depth guy, Cody Poteet. I put in there because I do really like Cody Poteet. That's your rotation. Cole, Fried, Heel, Rodon, Schmidt. Now the Yankees have depth, which they can do a couple of things with. And this is why it's so important. Now the Yankees can go and trade from their strength, which is their rotation, and get bats with the pitchers. Now, Marcus Stroman, I imagine the Yankees are going to trade him. I think Stroman has a lot of appeal to other teams because right now players, I mean, you look at Max Fried, 27.25 million AAV, right? You're going to have pitchers like Frankie Montas just got 17 million, 18 million per season. I think Stroman's a better pitcher and a more reliable, consistent pitcher than Frankie Montas is. He's also a lot healthier than Frankie Montas is. And then you also have pitchers like Luis Severino, who just got 22 million. You have Sean Manaea, who's going to be making at least probably 25 million a year. So pitching is very expensive. Walker Buehler is probably going to be making 20 plus million. Marcus Stroman is at a perfect amount where you could trade him and actually get something back, whether that be a reliever or 2 arms, whether that be, a prospect in a reliever, whether it be a bat. You could trade Marcus Stroman for something and get some value out of it. So I think Stroman is on the chopping block. I think the Yankees are going to try to trade off of that money. He didn't pitch at all in October. The Yankees, I think, don't view him as really an option moving forward. So I think they could trade him. Another thing the Yankees can do, and we're going to kind of get into Yankee rumors and talk about it a little bit because something came up today that got me very excited and made me realize that there is a way for the Yankees to give us fans an opportunity to forget about Juan Soto. And by doing that, you'd have to trade an arm like a Luis Heel or a Clark Schmidt. Me personally, I would sell high on a Luis Heel. Clark Schmidt, to me, has been very consistent. He's getting better each and every year. He's a guy who you can rely on to give you innings. And the thing that scares me about Luis Heel is that he throws very hard. And when guys throw that hard as starting pitchers, they tend to have a lot of elbow issues. They have, arm injuries, things like that. And I think Luis Heel is not going to be as durable of a starter moving forward as Clark Schmidt will be. So to me, I think Luis Heel, you sell high on the fact he won the Rookie of the Year this past season. He's got incredible strikeout stuff. And I think the Yankees could look to try to trade Luis Heel for a big-time impact elite bat. And I will get into who that is in a minute. But this Yankee rotation. I mean, look at it again. Cole, Fried, Heel, Rodon, Schmidt, Nestor, Stroman, Poteet. Then you look at other guys that you have, the guys that aren't even on this list. Will Warren, Clayton Beater, right? You have Chase Hampton, Carlos Lagrange. I don't know how close he is. Probably not super close. Brock Selvage will be up in a couple of years. The Yankees have so much pitching depth coming out of their ears. I'm sure that they're also. We know the Yankees. They'll sign some guys to minor league deals. Some starting pitchers who maybe have lost their way. They're not attractive options anymore. They come over. The Yankees invite them to spring training. You never know what can happen. Maybe they're in the bullpen. Maybe they give you spot starts every once in a while. The Yankees have a lot of pitching depth, and I think that's something that has, been a strength in 2023, and it's especially going to be a strength this year to be able to fortify other positions of need on the roster. And that, to me, is why this signing makes all the sense in the world. It also makes all the sense in the world because now you put the pressure off of Carlos Rodon. Rodon does not need to be the number 2 anymore. Now he can settle in. I have him penciled in at number 4, but if you trade Luis Heel, you can move him up to 3 easily. But now you can move him down and you take that load off of Rodon. He doesn't have to feel that immense pressure to have to deliver, have to be the guy after Garrett Cole, right? Now you have a guy who you can place right behind Garrett Cole and Max Fried, who is an ace in his own right, who has been incredible throughout his career. I love Max Fried. I love this deal. 8 years. I don't love the 8 years. I still don't love it. I didn't love it at the time, but you have to overpay in this market right now. If you're not willing to overpay and go above and beyond, you're not going to be able to get any of this talent that's out there in the free agent market. I mean, Juan Soto just got $800 million. Okay. $800 million. Shohei Ohtani a year ago, who can pitch and hit, got $700 million, and Juan Soto eclipsed it. And he can only hit, really. He's not a good defender. We know that. He's not good at running the bases, but that's the thing. The market right now is so for the players that you have to be able to go above and beyond. The Red Sox, I mean, the Red Sox just lost Max Fried to the Yankees. This was their number 1 target. The Red Sox are not willing to pay the prices of the market right now, and it's costing them. The Yankees went out. They said, you know what? Instead of sitting on our hands and just kind of, crying, why us? Why did we lose Juan Soto? The Yankees went out there, and just like Brian Cashman usually does, he pivots quick. They got Max Fried done. Max Fried is a New York Yankee. I'm excited to hear his press conference. I'm excited to see him talk about the Yankees, what he's excited about. I'm excited to see him paired right behind Cole in the rotation, and hopefully he can have some big moments for us and help us win a championship and bring that title back home to the Bronx. Max Fried is a New York Yankee. I love it. And what I also love is now we have a Max Fried, spelled like fried, and we have Ben Rice. And if Ben Rice goes back to catcher, you can have fried rice, baby. I love that. It's so dumb. But yeah, Max Fried is a New York Yankee. What do you guys think about Max Fried in the signing that the Yankees just made? Do you like this signing? Are you happy that Max Fried is a Yankee? Are you not happy with it? Or do you think 8 years is too many years? Let me know down below in the comments. But yes, now we're going to move on to Yankee rumors. This episode's going to be shorter today. I'm very tired. I've had a long night of trying to get this thing to work. So, there's no reason to over exaggerate or over kind of, you know what I mean? There's no reason to ramble on. Okay. So let's get to some rumors. We're going to talk about whether or not I like them, whether or not I'd be down for them. Okay. This is everything that's been going on, at least today. I'm sure that there's been other rumors over the past week since we've been here that I've missed. The Yankees have been in basically on everybody. They've turned every rock so far. They're going to continue to turn every rock, as they should. And let's start off with this one. Mets and Yankees. This is tweeted by John Heyman. Mets and Yankees are in the mix for Jonathan Loaisiga. Others in two, not imminent at moment. What do I feel about this? I'm all for it. Bring Jonathan Loaisiga back. I really like Jonathan Loaisiga, and I know he has injury issues and he's had an injury injured past, but the Yankees really have gotten the best out of him. Matt Blake has really done a great job, an exceptional job with that bullpen. Same thing with their pitching development. And Jonathan Loaisiga, bring him back. If it's a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, maybe that's what it comes down to. Do the Mets offer him more years? Do the Yankees, maybe offer him a little bit better of a deal and try to get him right, for a 1-year contract, or maybe even add an option in there? So I like the idea of bringing Jonathan Loaisiga back, because even though he is injury prone, when he is healthy, he is elite. I mean, the dude's got incredible stuff. He throws hard. He strikes out a lot of guys. I really like Jonathan Loaisiga. I'm down for him coming back. The next rumor is a big one. This is the one where you look at trading Luis Gil. John Heyman, Astros are willing to listen on anyone. So that would presumably include stars Kyle Tucker, right there, Kyle Tucker, and Framber Valdez, who are both free agents after the year. They're certainly not committed sellers and not shopping anyone, as they remain hopeful to re-sign Alex Bregman. I don't think they're going to be able to re-sign Alex Bregman. Bregman wants $200+ million. I don't see the Astros giving him that. Then John Heyman tweeted this a couple hours after. Cubs and Yankees are among potential fits for Kyle Tucker if the Astros seriously entertain moving the star outfielder. Then we heard, and I didn't bookmark this, but then we heard on Hot Stove today, Yankee Hot Stove, they did talk about Kyle Tucker. Jack Curry brought him up, and Jack Curry said that the Yankees will definitely be on the phone with Houston about, if this is even possible. They are going to definitely kind of kick the tire. Meredith Marakovits tried, throwing some water on the flames, saying she doesn't see it happening, but I could see it happening. And I get so giddy about this because Kyle Tucker, let me tell you right now, Kyle Tucker is a freaking dog. You want to get over the heartbreak of losing Juan Soto? I don't know what just happened, why it did that. You want to get over the heartbreak of losing. You want to get over the heartbreak of losing Juan Soto? This is how you do it. The Yankees have a tough job right now because even though they signed Max Fried, one of the three best starting pitchers available in free agency, the problem is, unfortunately, you lost Juan Soto. So you're still at a net negative. It's still a negative because he was so important and so vital to this offense. And the Yankee offense has been the problem that the Yankees have had for years now. We've had a problem with the offense, especially in October. So now the Yankees are in a tough position. You sign Max Fried, that's great, but you have to somehow sell the fans on this offense and that it's okay that you lost Juan Soto. Well, let me tell you what cushions the blow a little bit. It's this guy, Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker, he is an underrated superstar in this league. I am obsessed with this guy. Look at his baseball savant. Look at that. Now, you might be saying, Nick, why does it look so weird? Well, he only had 339 plate appearances this past season. He was technically 277 at-bats. He was injured and kind of beat up. But look at this. Over the last 3 years, 30 home runs, 25 stolen bases, 29 home runs, 30 stolen bases, 23 home runs in a shorter sample, okay, where he probably was on pace to hit at least 45. 11 stolen bases, 257 average in 2022, but a 284 average in 2023, a 289 average in 2024. On base, 408 in 2024, 369 in 2023. Slugging, 585, 993 OPS in 2024. And then the year prior in 2023, in a full season, 517 slugging, 886 OPS. Kyle Tucker's the real deal, okay? This is a guy who can go out and steal bases for you. He's a phenomenal defender as well. I know it doesn't really say much here if you look at this, but the dude makes some great plays in the outfield. And, he's not as good of a hitter as Soto is, right? Soto is an elite hitter. Kyle Tucker is also, in my opinion, maybe a tier below that, but he is incredible. This is a superstar. And he's one of the most underrated, one of the most quiet superstars in all of baseball. And this guy right here has got me a fluttering. I want the Yankees to trade for Kyle Tucker. That now is my new dream. Juan Soto's gone. Okay. I'll tell you what, you trade for Kyle Tucker. If somehow, now his agent is not Scott Boras, it is Casey Close, who was Derek Jeter's agent. Okay. If you can somehow trade for Tucker, get him to sign an extension so he doesn't hit free agency, wow, would that be a win for the Yankees. And I'm going to say this, okay? And this is not me coping, okay? For any Mets fans who want to sit there and say I'm coping, I'm not. This is me speaking truth, and I had to think about it. Kyle Tucker is a better fit than Juan Soto was for this Yankee team because the things the Yankees have struggled with the past several years have been a lack of athleticism, bad base running fundamentals, bad defensive fundamentals, and speed. Okay. Now, is he the fastest guy on the planet? No, actually, Baseball Savant has him at 18 percentile in speed, which is kind of weird because I think the guy actually runs pretty well. But the thing is that Kyle Tucker, this is a guy who is a better fit than Juan Soto was. Juan Soto brought the hit tool that we all wanted, but he didn't bring the defense. He didn't bring the base running, the base running IQ, I should say, really the acronym of base running. Kyle Tucker is that in stride. And so if there's a way that the Astros would trade Kyle Tucker, because they don't have to trade him, right? He has 1 year left. He's going to be a free agent in 2026. So my thought is if the Yankees aren't able to trade for him this offseason, they have to do everything in their power next offseason. This is the guy who replaced the Juan Soto-sized hole. This is it. Kyle Tucker, the guy. And that's why I'm saying you have so much pitching depth now. You can go out and, maybe attract the Astros by attaching a Luis Heel as part of the package with a Spencer Jones or a Luis Heel with a, Roderick Arias or George Lombard Jr. or whatever prospect or two prospects that the Astros really like. I think the Astros would be very interested in a guy like Luis Heel. Justin Verlander, I know they're trying to bring him back. He's very old. They're a very old team. You could get a guy like Luis Heel who you can continue to develop, who has elite stuff to be an ace. And the Yankees can sell high on that. Now, I love Luis Heel. I'm not, saying, just trade Luis Heel for anything. No, this is the guy you trade Luis Heel for. This guy is the guy you trade Luis Heel for. Kyle Tucker. I want Kyle Tucker to be a New York Yankee. He fits this team like a glove. You could put him hitting before Judge, and he's an imposing bat. The guy also is clutch in the playoffs. He hits in the playoffs. He's a World Series champion. I like Kyle Tucker. He's also only 27. He's going to be 28 next year. So this is a guy that you spend money on. This is a guy who you drop money on. He's going to make easily probably $400+ million because Juan Soto changed the landscape for outfielders like him, like Kyle Tucker, like others. Kyle Tucker needs to be a New York Yankee. And this is who I want the Yankees to trade for. Now, if we're going up against the Cubs, I feel very confident that we could pull off a better package. The worry that I have and that other people have, which is valid, is that would the Astros trade with the Yankees? And would they trade Kyle Tucker to the Yankees, knowing that we're going to be competing in October against one another most likely? I understand that. That's going to be a tough sell. But if the Yankees can give them a package that actually helps benefit the Astros, not just on the prospect side, but also on their 26-man roster side and in their rotation, Luis Heel, or even Clark Schmidt, I guess, take your pick, which one you like. I would rather trade Heel. But if they like a Luis Heel, I mean, that's pretty enticing. And that could help them in October. That can help them, have a young, controllable starting pitcher for the foreseeable future. And I love Luis Heel, but this is the type of guy you trade Luis Heel for. So Kyle Tucker, I love that John Heyman brought it up. And look, when there is a lot of people starting to talk about it, Joel Sherman brought it up. John Heyman talked about the Yankees and Kyle Tucker connection. You had Jack Curry bring it up. You have all these media heads talking about it. That's exactly what happened with Juan Soto. Last year, I remember when Juan Soto, the Padres will never trade Juan Soto. They're not going to make him available. Why would they do that? No, it's not happening. No, we're not, you had Padres fans who are like, no, we're not actually, poor, or we're not actually overspending. It's really like this article is just trying to tear down the Padres. And it's like, no, no, we're spending way too much money and you weren't making enough money. So the same thing happened with Juan Soto. People were like, it's not going to happen. And then everyone started talking about it. There was chatter and they're like, oh, it makes sense. Yankees and Padres match up for this. Yankees have what the Padres want. This is the kind of move you make. And this is the type of guy that you can bring in and you could sell to the fan base. We lost Juan Soto, but now we brought in Kyle Tucker and we locked him up long-term. He's going to be here. He's not going to go to free agency and leave us for like the Dodgers or the Mets or the Red Sox or anything like that. He is here to stay. He's going to be a New York Yankee for the rest of his career. I think a lot of people would then ease up on the fact that Soto left. I think you'd get a lot of people to be okay with Soto leaving if you bring in an elite player like a Kyle Tucker, who is, again, incredibly underrated, incredibly undervalued, especially when it comes to MLB in terms of like the way that they rank players and stuff. This is a guy who is a dog. He's a beast. I want Kyle Tucker on the Yankees. Whether or not the Astros trade him this offseason to the Yankees, he's going to be a free agent next offseason, and then you pounce. You pounce either this offseason to try to bring him in and try to extend him, or you wait till next year and you sign him and give him a big fat bag and you pair him with Aaron Judge and you put Kyle Tucker in left field and you put Aaron Judge in right field. Bada bing, bada boom. That's what I want. So we're going to get into more rumors. Kyle Tucker. I will continue talking about Kyle Tucker until something happens, until Kyle Tucker either gets traded or, he doesn't. But we will talk a lot about Kyle Tucker on this channel, whether it be this offseason. It'll definitely be next offseason if the Yankees do, in fact, if he does become, in fact, a free agent. We will be talking about him a lot because he's going to be my number one target for 2026. Okay, if the Yankees don't trade for him, okay, they might not trade for him. But if the Yankees don't trade for him and he becomes a free agent, FYI, this is the guy. This guy. Let me pull him up one more time. This is the guy right here that I will be advocating and pleading with Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner to get him. That is my number one target next offseason. I know Vladdy Jr. is also going to be a free agent. Kyle Tucker, I think, fits better. He fits better. And man, I love it. And the Yankees also might be getting a new first baseman, maybe even tomorrow. So we're going to kind of go to that rumor here. All right, moving on from Kyle Tucker, because I could talk about Kyle Tucker all day. I love him. We also had this story, or this little rumor here, or story from Ken Rosenthal. I don't think this is happening now, but it was an interesting footnote. Mets and Yankees among teams vying for White Sox Crochet. This was before we signed Max Fried. I imagine the Yankees are not in on Garrett Crochet after signing Max Fried. I also have heard that the White Sox are asking for the moon, the stars, and space. They are literally asking for the world, and it's pissing a lot of teams off. So the Yankees, I didn't think the Yankees really had a great chance of getting Garrett Crochet anyway, but I just wanted to kind of put it as my bookmark to kind of just bring it up to you guys if you hadn't seen it. But yeah, and then we have this right here. This is why I said Vladdy Jr. probably ain't happening next year. That's why Kyle Tucker should happen. Max Greenfield, source, Yankees are in heavy negotiations with Christian Walker on a possible 3-year deal. Now, Max is not the only person that I saw tweet about Christian Walker having a 3-year deal with the Yankees. I've actually seen it from multiple people. I couldn't find it when I went to go, record, but there's multiple people that have, talked about the Yankees signing Christian Walker. Jack Curry also said this. If we go back to this, this is kind of a relief, but also a kind of exciting moment. The Yankees don't believe Nolan Arenado is a fit per Jack Curry. That makes me happy because earlier in the day we had heard that, the Yankees had interest in Nolan Arenado and everyone panicked, including myself. That wasn't the case. The name we're hearing the most about is Christian Walker. He said that, there's Teoscar Hernandez, there's Santander out there, but the name that keeps coming up is Christian Walker. When Jack Curry says something like this, it makes me stop and listen, number one. And then it also makes me feel very confident that Christian Walker is going to be a New York Yankee, because every time that these types of things happen, they end up becoming Yankees. How do I feel about Christian Walker potentially being a New York Yankee? I'm conflicted by it. I like the move defensively, especially now that you signed Max Fried, who is a ground ball pitcher. So you're going to need a really good infield defense. And he's won 3 straight Gold Gloves at first base. Offensively, I don't know if I love the fit as much. He's a right-handed hitter. I usually like first basemen that are on the Yankees to hit left-handed. I know that we've had, guys like Luke Voigt and stuff like that, but I think, look, man, I'd be happy with Christian Walker. I'm not going to be upset. You give me, if the Yankees can somehow pull off an offseason of Max Fried, Christian Walker, and Kyle Tucker, I mean, Juan Soto, who's Juan Soto? I'm not even kidding. You give me that offseason, Juan Soto is just a memory at that point. Fly, 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 little birdie. That's the way I feel. That's the way I feel. And I think that the team would be more well-rounded. The Yankees might be better off without Juan Soto. And I'm not trying to say that now. Obviously I still want, I'd still want Juan Soto. To this day, I still want him on the Yankees, right? But we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. Then we had this from John Morosi also confirming Christian Walker at the moment is a bigger priority to the Yankees than Pete Alonso, per John Morosi. This is tweeted out by Darius Glover. Really good follow. Definitely go drop him a follow. He's a really good Yankee follow. Nolan Arenado, not a fit per Jack Curry. I just wanted to reiterate that. Nolan Arenado also has he has a partial no trade clause, and so the 6 teams that he said that he would waive his no trade clause for, the Yankees were not one of them, which I'm fine with. But I thought it was so funny he put the Angels on there. He's like, yeah, I want to go win, but you know what? If I can go back home to LA, it also wouldn't be that bad. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then the last little bit of news, this kind of came out of nowhere. And this was kind of interesting. Free agent reliever Chris Martin and the Yankees have met in person at the winter meetings. He also met with the Rangers in person too. So Chris Martin, could he be possibly a reliever that the Yankees go after? Now we're hearing him. We're hearing Loaizaga. We heard a little bit ago, last week, Tommy Kahnle, the Yankees were talking about. I also saw another report. I didn't bookmark it. Tim Hill is a guy that the Yankees have been talking with. However, his market is pretty competitive. That's why you should have gotten that deal done a month ago. I don't know why they didn't. But, the relief market, I think the Yankees are going to be attacking that once they kind of figure out what they're doing offensively and how they're going to go about that. And there's a lot of good names out there, man. I mean, the Yankees now have money because, they didn't retain Soto, that they could maybe even spend on a guy like a Devin Williams if they want. They could go out there and, maybe even look at a Tanner Scott. There's kind of rumblings that the Yankees are looking at a Tanner Scott. The Yankees have a lot of freedom to kind of do some different things. Do I think this team is better without Soto? No, I do not. Do I think this team is better than what it was last year? Offensively, definitely not. The offense right now is a shit show, but the pitching staff is incredible. I really like the move of Max Fried. I'm very happy that we got Max Fried, and more moves to come. We might even have a move tomorrow, so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to this channel because if we do make a move tomorrow, I will be having I'll make a YouTube short, just kind of talking about the move for a minute. And it's probably looking like it's going to be Christian Walker. Christian Walker might be walking through that door with Max Fried. Are they going to have a press conference at the same time? I don't know. Are you going to give a press conference to a guy who's only here for 3 years? I don't know. But yeah, exciting things happening with the Yankees. Winter meetings. There's only, a couple days left. this is a great time of the year, and I hope to see more moves happen around baseball, not just for the Yankees, but I'd love to see where Corbin Burns ends up. My guess he's going to be a Giant, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, I'm very tired. It's been a very long day. I had to take an exam today, so that's going to be it for me. Make sure you guys like this video if you enjoyed listening to this episode of the Yankee Doodle Dandy. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and turn your notification bell on, so that way you're notified every time a move happens for the Yankees. I'll be here covering it. Thank you guys so much for listening to me, and let's go Yankees. Christian Walker a Yankee tomorrow? Christian Walker a Yankee tomorrow? We'll find out. But peace out, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.